Welcome to another Doug and Carl podcast. It wouldn't be complete without my co-host, and that is Carl, who is just joining us right now. Carl, good to have you back there. You went missing for a minute or two.
Hey, I was wandering around in the green room.
So we were talking before we went live about the weather. Of course, I'm getting a little bit of snow, and then I think Carl's going to get a little bit more.
Yeah, the wind is already howling, and it's right on our doorstep. Once it hits, it's gonna stay with us for a day and a two. So here we go.
All right. Well, let's bring on our guest, and that is none other than Don of RestoreOldRadios. Don, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, doing good. Hope everyone out there is.
Yeah, we're doing great. We're great. Have a couple on the chat. Looks like one, I guess.
All right.
So we're off to a good start here, I guess. There's Bill.
Yeah, we got Bill and Jim in there. So
yeah, there you go.
Hey, Bill, Jim.
Good deal.
And like I say, that's our chat so far. And let's you want guys wait, kind of like to wait a little bit, let a few more people get on here if they will. And we've got 8 right now, and so obviously not everybody's chatting. So there you go. Greg's back.
All right.
Greg is here. So
yeah, we're getting a pretty good group coming in already. All right.
Yeah, so that's good. All right. Well, we can go ahead and start. Like I said, if nothing else, you guys. Well, there's Bob. Hey, Bob, how are you doing?
Y'all know Bob.
Y'all know Bob.
Yep.
And there is Larry, Back to the Future Radios. This is going to be a good one. Looks like a good one.
Yeah, we got a real good group coming in, so that's fantastic.
All right. Well, let's get started here. I think Carl has a few things to start off, and let's go for that.
First of all, Don, I want to say it's a real pleasure to have you come in and join our little show. We all watch you and watch your videos, and you get into some really good stuff. So it kind of leads me to think, this guy, he's got to have something in the background, what's going on. So I thought I'd ask you a little bit about your education. Are you a electronic engineer or, rocket science, whatever, we want to find out about you a little bit. So if you could give us a little briefing on your education and maybe your where you was working at and stuff, we'd all love to hear it.
Sure, Carl. I appreciate the question. No, I'm more just a techie. I tell you how I got started in electronics. My dad's dad, my grandfather, he gave me a boot one time. He gave me a TV to take apart.
Wow.
So I did a great job taking that set apart.
We all did that.
Yeah, and it laid in his basement for a number of months. And I think I swept it up and threw it in the garbage. But anyway, that was the motivational piece to get started in electronics. And I started doing some correspondence through SCTE.
Wow.
And ICS at an early age, and then later in the 90s as well. In electrical engineering, I did not finish my degree, but it did lay a nice foundation for theory, electronics, and a refresher for math because I had been out of school for a while. So that was most helpful. And then I spent a little over 40 years in the broadband industry, telecommunications.
Oh,
so numerous certifications there and an opportunity to work with fiber, coax, of course, install TVRO installations, off-air tower installations, build head ends, hubs, HFC networks, design fiber networks. So that's kind of my background.
Wow. Well, you can kind of tell that you were in somewhere in there. You had to be doing something because, a lot of us have, started out the same way, tinkering as a kid, and then as we got older, same deal, doing this, doing that. But the fact that correspondence courses, and it's kind of funny. I used to remember seeing you could go. They had a lot of places for that opportunity, and you don't see that anymore. But you can tell that it really helped with you. And then going into telecommunications, that's real impressive. And I can see now it makes more sense when we watch your videos. I mean, you do have some background in this stuff. So,
Right.
So let me ask you now, did you just decide, well, I'm gonna build a little shop here in my home and start tinkering, or what kind of led you into the basics of what we're doing now with the restoring and all that?
Well, my dad, he was an avid collector of radios as well. I've shared some of his videos of his collection.
Right.
And unfortunately, his health doesn't allow him, at this time to be able to do any restoration work. So he's got well over 100 radios in his collection, some restored, some not restored. So he and I set up a little bench at his house. At the time, I relocated to Georgia.
Yeah.
So I was living north of Atlanta for a number of years. Had a small shop there in the backside of the basement, and started collecting more radios, going to yard sales and alike. And then the collection grew to well over 100 and some radios.
Don't take long.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
So, I did start out at the basic radios. I wanted to learn more about all American 5s before I jumped into, the transformer sets with high voltage, and, make sure I had the test equipment and the education. So there was a lot of learning, that went on, and reading. And I still read today. I mean, I constantly reading and, learning something from everyone else out there that actually puts a YouTube video out. I don't think there's probably a single person I haven't watched that you don't pick up something,
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Talk about a gold field. That's one thing YouTube has really, really just jumped ahead. Okay, let me look over here at the chat. Okay, I'm just going to look some real quick, and okay. Back to the Future, Larry. How long did it take him to straighten up the workbench for tonight's?
5 minutes. Actually, I did this for Larry, about 5 minutes. So, yeah, the only thing I've been piddling with here in the probably month or so, a good friend of Larry's, Josh, he's probably on in the background right now. He's probably not in the chat, but we've been playing around with a little crystal oscillator circuit.
Oh, yes.
And, it's just been too cold. I really haven't been doing any radio work. I've got a Zenith from the early 30s or late 30s teed up to do next, but I'll probably jump on it sometime soon.
Well, we got another one here, and this is from Greg, and he wants to know if did you recover fully from your fall that you had a few months back?
Hey, Greg, thanks for the asking. I sure did. It took a while. Some therapy, and I was stiff and got my teeth fixed because it chipped my front teeth out, and chin, nose, arm, leg, hip.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't realize concrete was that hard.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to kind of jump in here, Carl. We have another question, kind of ties in with what we're doing here. I'll show you that one. And I think if Don wants to go over that now, we do have some pictures with that, if that's okay with Don.
Sure.
So, like I said, he wants to know what's your oldest radio and what was the most difficult restoration. So take it away, Don.
I'm not sure it's the oldest, but probably one of the most challenging that took the most time was my Chanticleer radio.
Would that
It
be
was
this one?
West Coast. This radio here that you pulled up on the screen. So not only you can see the cabinet itself was the challenge, the grill bars on the right side are knocked out, and of course all the toner lacquers are missing, the grill cloths. It's had better days, but the electrical part of the restoration was equally challenging.
Let's see. I've got a little bit of a thing. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's another look at the grill. So, yeah, I took shop way back in high school, and my dad did a lot of woodworking, but I just had to figure out a way to rebuild the cabinet, all the curvature, and get things back together. And that's the look back at the radio after about 8 months worth of work on the cabinet and the chassis itself. And I think there's some photos there too, Doug, of the
chassis.
Yeah, the chassis. What I started with there with the rat's nest.
Man.
So that's
Wow.
probably one of the probably the worst ones I've started with. But the radio, again, there was only one other example of a Chanticleer. I think it's a 2D 570. And I don't really care to paint a chassis, and I didn't, at the time, I didn't get it zinc coated. So it does have zinc paint back over the chassis after removing all of the rust. Same time, here you can see that, yeah, the speaker cone was used up. So this was my very first attempt of creating a spider and actually a voice coil former and a voice coil by hand, and reconed it, and believe it or not, I got it to work.
Wow.
That's aligning the voice coil, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And yeah, I've been there, done that. I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think it turned out pretty well, as we can see.
Yeah. What a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a great player. I've got it in the house and still, playing away.
Well, that's a pretty good deal there. So that's your most difficult, is that right?
I would say so, just because of, not only the electrical challenges, there was no schematic available, but you can find, close schematics that somewhat mirror the design and tube complement. So not having the actual schematic, and then, the woodworking piece, and then, just soaking the chassis in alcohol for, about a week or so.
Yeah.
All the germs as well.
Yeah.
John, we've got a question here from Bob K. He was wondering now on one of your average restorations, and we know that there's no such thing as a true average. Each one is so unique.
Oh yeah.
But he's just asking, how long normally does it take you to do a restoration on one of these radios?
Well, Bob, thanks for your question. I'd say it really depends, and anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks or so, maybe, for a restoration. It really just depends on the time that I can devote to it as well. I'm very blessed now to be very close by to my parents, which are still with me, and I spend a lot of time now helping them more, and less time in the shop these days.
Yeah. So Bob also has a question about where do you find the radios?
I've only bought, I think, 2 radios in 4 years, and Larry showed my warehouse on one of his videos. That's Back to the Future radios, and I've still got well over 100 radios that need to be restored.
Wow.
And if I ever get to them, if not, I'll be donating them to you guys.
All right, let's have one more question from Vince here. Do you have a full set of SAMs or writers, and do you download them as you need them?
Vince thinks, I think I've got them all. but if I am missing something, I do download them. And I'll take that back. That's more for writers. The SAMs I have a few volumes, and I don't have all of those. But most of the stuff that I've done is available through Beatman or on Writers.
Yep. Yeah, I use those a lot too. Those are great.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with both of those statements. And like I said, what got you? I noticed a departure from your original, basically restorations, and you've gotten into little projects now. Oscillators, just like you were talking about, AM transmitters, just the little, what's the little, not the Pi, what's the other one? The, you know what I'm talking about.
Little projects? Or?
Yeah, the little project with it, I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, you're kind of branching off there. Is there a special reason for that, or just something piqued your interest? Or
yeah, it was just more different and another opportunity to learn something, and experiment with some, transistors and JFETs and, just do something different. You know. And a lot of times too, in the winter months, you'll notice like right now I'm working on an oscillator circuit, and it's not a good time to be working on cabinets.
That's true.
I don't have a heated spray booth or anything. So all my stuff, if I tackle it, it's outside, and I can grab a radio and do the electrical restoration now. But it's I think it's using a different part of my brain.
And you gotta be careful, because those darn like transmitters, they can almost get addicting, because it's so much fun, and you're doing one step and then you're moving it here, then moving it there. So yeah, transmitters, they can be
Bob just pointed out Arduino. I could not think of that word for some reason. This is kind of difficult. Anybody who hadn't done this, you need to do this. It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I threw the Arduino out there. Hopefully, you'll be able to get Rick on as well. All American 5 radio, because I think I got him hooked now on Arduinos.
That's really good.
Yeah. And you can see it. It's all of a sudden now he's going into that heavy duty.
Yeah. There you go. That's it. But I was gonna say that. I'm gonna say, well, Rick does a lot of experimenting too. I wonder if it's the same. Now I think Rick lives in the same area as you do, doesn't he?
Correct. He's down in I think Raleigh, and I'm just south of Winston-Salem area.
Yeah. So cool. Well, what do you got, Carl?
I'm looking to see. Okay, here's another one from Bob K. Wants to know, have you ever restored an old transistor radio? Like you said, you were kind of looking at transistors and stuff. Have you tried to jump in on that yet?
I have. I had a Emerson. The model number escapes me right now, but I've tackled it and recapped it and replaced all the defective transistors as well. The circuit boards, I've got a few out there right now in the shop, Bob. I mean, probably 5 or 6 I should pop open and see if I can do anything with. But the PC boards are in such bad shape. I think I could salvage them though.
Yeah, it gets tough when with the older ones, the traces start to lift on you, and it can be kind of tough on the boards. I know that.
Yeah. The old GEs were the worst, I think. The old green boards, they didn't hold up very good at all.
Right. You guys seen Matt's channel? The 50s transistors.
Oh yeah.
You guys
I've been watching his.
Yeah, I sent Matt 5 or 6 transistor radios sometime back. As a gift. Said, here you man, see what you can do with these.
Well, I remember a time when Doug went on eBay and he had like a whole pile of them for a while.
About 17 at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
They're still in the box.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this has been excellent. Like I said, really, we haven't had to do much. Everybody's asking questions in the chat. It's been really good.
Here's a good one. Hold on, I got to grab this one.
All right.
This is from Greg. I saw a buzz did a TV recently. Is Don planning any TVs? There you go.
Not at this time. I actually did some TVs
Okay.
very early on, not on video.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't have very good success. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I repair TVs for a living for quite a while, and I hate TVs.
Yeah.
I'm so much more happier with radios.
Yeah. It's a great question, but I look at Bob Anderson, I think, and,
Yep.
and people like that.
Greg says
And-
you can be the next Bob Anderson.
Nah, I don't have Bob's skill set or knowledge. I enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the guys out there, TV Phono Nut, he's good on
Yep.
TV.
Yep.
And Shango.
Shango, yeah, I can't
Yeah,
forget him.
He loves, and it's all different. It's all good, but and I try to follow what they're doing, and sometimes we can, but then they, if you're not into it, at least for me, it's been tough to like kind of get into the TV thing. So I know what you're saying, Don, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some of it too is room to put stuff. So if you could see the rest of my shop, you'd see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the area I cleaned out for Larry.
We know he appreciates that too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is working out pretty good. Don, let me ask you this real quick. Do you have any other hobbies besides what we've talked about?
That's the biggest thing right now. I used to play a lot of golf, and that was a few years back. And I relocated, and I just gave up the golf clubs. They're still here in the shed, but
I've got to set out in the garage.
yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But North Carolina, now that's who's that guy that designs all those? That's in throughout North Carolina, does the big golf courses. I can't think of it, but it's that's well known for golf. North Carolina.
Yeah, there's some great courses here. When we were in the Charlotte area, I got to play golf there. The vendors would come by, and we had the opportunity to sneak off.
Wow.
Play some golf. So
yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? Well, that's great. Like I said, that's really interesting about all of this, and I'm happy that we could get you on here, and we're hoping very much so to get, we've been talking some about Rick. We're hoping to get him on, and who knows who else.
Yes.
But like I said, this has been a very interesting and good conversation. And like I said, let's see what everybody's saying here.
And just so you know, we got a lot of you on our sites, so we're gonna,
yeah, we do. Don, I've noticed RCA uses a 3-volt battery to disable the AVC for alignment. Have you used this method on other types of radios?
I haven't. I do have a DC power supply, just a little battery pack to use that method, but I have not. It's actually one of the recommended practices. I think one of the best practices to, disable by inserting the DC voltage.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, that sounds good. I have one more question. Well, actually, 2 more questions from Greg. First one is, Don, next time I'm in North Carolina, maybe I can come visit?
No. Just kidding, Greg. You're more than welcome once we get the pandemic behind us.
Check out your new warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's Greg. Oh, like I say, his was a good interview too. I enjoyed that. I've enjoyed all of them, to tell you the truth, though. I mean, we had some glitches to start off with, but this seems to be a pretty good format, or whatever you want to call it, to use, and I think it works out really well, and I'm happy about that. Gotcha. That's pretty good. So anyway, like I said, unless you got anything else you'd like to add, Don, to our conversation?
Well, I will tell you a funny story. You was talking about how I got into industry. I think it was Bob Gibbons actually mentioned working on tobacco farm.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was actually the same for me. So before I started gaffing poles at 16 years of age, I actually worked in the tobacco field. So on my mother's side, my grandparents, they were tobacco farmers and sweet potato mainly. So I spent many, many years priming tobacco and, had a lot of fun on the farm life and stuff.
Right, right.
Getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning and
Bob still does that, I
yeah,
think.
learn how to operate the tractors, and then they had me in the top of the barn, hanging tobacco as well. So that was a lot of fun before I threw a set of gaffs on for the first time and started climbing utility poles for a number
Wow.
of years before moving into management.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yep. I will tell you another cool story. I never got my ham license, but I did create a lot of, havoc for my parents and stuff in their yard. I got me some tree gaffs, and after I was an avid climber and built a lot of inverted V's, and had a lot of copper hanging off of the pine trees 60 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after about 5 years, they had 0 pine trees in their yard left after the lightning storm. So it was a
Oh, that's good.
way to clear out their property of all the pine trees.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that was a very good interview. Carl, what do you got going in?
Oh no, I tell you what.
Nothing you can say, right? It's been said.
Yeah. No, but I got to say that this has been a fantastic interview, and Don, we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and it's because it's finally we got something that's like Doug mentioned, where it's flowing smooth, and because when you have glitches going here and there, it makes it really tough to try to stay on track and that. So
Right.
I'm so glad that this is running good, and we really got to get a great interview from you. This is fantastic. I know the people out there are looking good. They're and they're getting all this information. So I think everybody's happy on this one.
Yep.
Looks like another question. Yeah. Don, do you still use the rotating chassis mount?
I do have 2 chassis mounts. One's out of view right now that you can't see, and another one's out of view right now that you can't see.
Yeah.
But I still have 2 mounts.
Oh.
Nothing as nice as Greg's got. I like Greg's mount.
Greg's camera. That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something. I looked at that, I thought, man, how could I 3D print that? I'm surprised he hasn't. He's printed everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, somebody else mentioned that. But yeah, you have come up with some really nice mounts, and seems like everything that you do, I want to replicate. And then when I get all the parts, by that time I'm on to something else.
Yeah.
And I just don't.
Yeah.
There's not enough time in the day. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's easy to do. I think we all have ideas sometime, and we want to do this and that, but time gets in the way, or something else gets in the way.
Yeah, you just wish you had a few more hours in a day. I guess that's pretty good then. I'm going to say the same thing that Carl said. Thank you so much for joining us, and we've enjoyed the interview immensely. And appreciate all your efforts in promoting the interview as well. And like I said, that's been good. Looks like Larry had one more thing to say here. Don, I want to thank you for all the things that you do for the hobby. And that's well put.
Yeah, and we can second and third that.
Yeah, exactly. So
thank you, Larry. I appreciate that.
I think we're going to, on that note, we're going to close out. And we've been going at it for almost 30 minutes now. So that's about our limit. We kind of go about 30 minutes. But again, Don, thank you very much.
In chat room, thank you so much, and thank you for asking. We've been dying to have people start asking questions. You guys,
it's been appreciated.
Some great ones. So thank you out there.
Yeah,
yes, very much.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining, and thanks for subscribing to my channel and watching my quirky videos.
Great.
All right, this was excellent, and we'll see you guys maybe next week. We're not sure yet, but maybe next week. So
Okay. Take care,
All right.
everybody. Be safe out there.
See you